Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to go ahead and get this video out and help you guys out and give you some tips and advice on working with C-curve nail tips. And what I mean by C-curve, not C-curve nail tips, C-curve nails. And what I mean by C-curve nails is nails that have very deep side walls, or nails that have a high arch or high apex, or nails that like curve down and grow, like they curve and grow under the nail, you know what I mean, against the nail, and just start to point down as they grow. Those are C-curve nails. Okay, when I first did this client, I was very intimidated because it wasn't your common nail type. You know, they didn't teach us how to apply acrylics to this specific nail type, so I thought I should help y'all out. You know, I've really learned everything through trial and error, so I think I know a little bit about it. Not on the educational side, but you know, how to apply and how to get the nails to look good. Okay, so the first things first is your foundation. You want to figure out whether you're going to use if you're going to sculpt the nail or you're going to use nail tips. Okay, and in my honest opinion, it's really whatever you're comfortable with, but in my honest opinion, I think using nail forms or sculpting the nails is your best bet, you know, because it provides more structure to the nail, and it also instantly gives off a straighter look. It helps the nails to look straight instead of curved down, you know, especially if you like the straighter look. So using nail forms is your best way to go. Like, it'll cover the whole nail. I'm sorry, it'll cover the whole nail. It'll help you cover the whole nail with product without applying too much product, you know what I mean? So yeah, forms is your best way. But your other option is what I'm using in the video, and that is nail tips. Back in the day, or even when I first started doing nails, they didn't have these. So when you are working with these nail types and you are using tips, C-curve nail tips is your best way to go. Like, when I first started doing nails, they started us with Eden nail tips, so I kind of continued to work with those. But I had a hard time with her using Eden nail tips because, you know, it just didn't cover the side walls. It didn't have the curve, you know, so I had to use like the back of my acrylic brush to kind of hold the sides in, but still the tip of the nail was still like wide, and it was messing up the shape and all of that crazy stuff, which is why I was so intimidated, because I didn't know what I was doing. Just wasn't working. I was like, why isn't this nail tip cooperating with me, you know? So yeah, and I also had a problem when it came to applying the product, but we'll get there. But yeah, you can use your C-curve nail tips. They have a whole variety of them out there. Some are pre-shaped, some are just C-curve, you know what I'm saying? But C-curve nail tips is your best way to go. Okay, so the next thing is applying the nail tips. Okay, for me, when I apply the nail tips to her specific nail types, because there are different types of C-curve nails, like I say, I think I explained a few of them in the beginning, but with hers, her nails, when they grow out, they naturally curve down. So when I'm applying nail tips to her nails, I just go up and apply the nails a few centimeters up, not centimeters, a few millimeters up. You know, I do not apply it at the free edge, because usually that's where you want to apply the nail tips so they don't like crack in half. But do not apply them to the tip of the nail, because, or the free edge of the nails, because they're just going to curve down and point down, and that's what we don't want. We want to give the illusion of a straighter look with these nails. Okay, unless that's what they want. They want the nails to curve down, but you know, we don't want that. It really defeats the purpose for me. That's what I think when it comes to this specific nail type, you know what I mean? But you want to apply the nail tips a few millimeters up. If you looked at me, if you paid attention when I was applying the nail tips, I went up a little bit because it gives off a straighter look to me. If you look at her nails from the side right now, it's giving off a straighter look. But as you can see, that the rest of her nail is growing down, but it's still covering the free edge of her nails. You know what I mean? Just don't go up too far with applying the nail tips to create that straight look, because it'll create a space in between the natural nail and the nail tip, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It'll kind of, the real nail is pointing down and curving down, and you apply the tip all the way up, then it'll have a space, you know what I mean? And dirt and everything can get caught up in there, so we don't want that. So you just go up a few millimeters, not too far up, and you can just kind of make the nail even whenever it comes to applying the product and filing, okay? And I'll tell you about that in just a few minutes. So yeah, just make sure that you're going up and applying the nail tip, okay? So the next thing is applying the product, or laying down your product. You want to keep the product at a minimum. You want to make sure that you're not applying too much product, especially at the base of the nail. We already have a hump or a C-curve or your apex. We already have that up there, so we want to keep it to a minimum, okay? And this is where quality product kicks in for the most part, because I still use powder that's, you know, on the cheaper end, but quality comes in because you want to make sure that you're able to put down a thin layer, a very thin layer of product, but still be able to have that opaqueness to be able to cover the nail, because whenever it comes to filing, we don't want to remove that product and everything is so sheer in that area, but because we applied the product so thin. So you want to keep the product at the base of the nail to a minimum. Seriously, you guys, because you're going to go wrong. This is where the problem comes in at when it comes to applying that product, okay? When you look at her nails, you'll automatically think, oh my gosh, I'm going to make everything extremely thin because I don't want to mess up the shape or make everything look fat and bumpy. So you'll think, let me just apply everything so thin. Do not do that. Just keep it thin at the base. Apply the rest of your product to the tip of the nail to balance everything out, okay? Keep the product on the tip of the nail thicker than the product on the base of the nail. So I usually work with a 2-ball method. If you pay attention here, I think I usually apply my first bead where I place the nail tip, and I just kind of pat everything in place there just to keep most of my product there. I don't really do a lot of swiping down on that area because I'm trying to keep most of my product there. And when I go back in with my second bead, I usually just make sure I get close to the cuticle area and I brush and blend everything down into my second bead. And that's how I'm able to keep it really thin there, okay? So she also has, like, her pinky and her ring finger has very deep sidewalls. So whenever I get to those nails, I'll still keep the two bead method, but then I'll work separately when it comes to the sidewall. So I'll do the first bead at the tip, second bead from the cuticle, and brush everything down into the tip, and then I'll go and work on my right side with just a tad bit of product and work on my left side with just a tad bit of product. You want to keep everything thin because if I put too much product on the sides, it's going to make the nails look fat, okay? It's going to make the nails look fat. Well, if you pay attention here, by the thumb, you'll see everything is kind of a little bit crooked a little bit just because the way her nail is shaped. So I kind of fill in the area and kind of sculpt, you know, to make everything kind of look even and symmetrical and, you know, just like make everything come together. So I may apply a little bit more product like in the corner over there, just so it can look, you know, I have my first bead and I'm really just patting everything down and just making sure stuff is in place, and then I go in with my cuticle bead and I try to keep it really close so I don't really have to apply too much product there, and I just brush everything down in there and make sure that I keep my sidewall product very thin, okay? So yeah, even though I applied like I think I put down my clear acrylic, like a thin layer of that. I went in with the I went in with my colored acrylic, and I also went in and encapsulated. I did all of that, and I still was able to keep the product thin on the base of her nails, okay? I usually, when I'm using hers, for the most part, I usually use my size 20 brush because I'm able to glide over the whole nail without using too much product. I got this brush from my local beauty supply, but on the brush, it's called Super Chrome. I really love this brush because it really glides over the nails. I really love the way it glides over nails. But I usually use that for her nails because I'm able to gather a lot of product and cover that part of the nail without applying too much, if that makes sense, okay? It just really, really works so well with her nail types and people who have like wider nail beds. So yeah, I'm not applying too much product, and everything is thin and still kind of looks good. I think hopefully I can find a video, a picture of the first set of nails I did on her, because I kind of messed up a little bit, you guys. Like, even though I didn't apply too much acrylic back then, it still kind of looked bulky on her nails, because you can easily, like I said, you can easily go wrong and make the nails look fat, you know, depending on how you apply that product, you know. So, yeah, but she continued to come back, and she kept, she kept continuing to come back to me and give me another chance on doing her nails. So I'll, insert a few photos of some nail sets that I did on her, showing you that I have gotten better working with her nail type. And yeah, so after that, you guys, I am encapsulating, and I'm also going to put like a few hearts and encapsulate those. Just make sure have good control of your product, because that's the main key here, having control of your product and knowing where to place it and how to place it, because if you don't, you're really going to go wrong, okay? So next we're going to talk about shaping the nails, okay? Whenever it's time for you to shape the nails, you want to make sure that you are keeping the shaping to a minimum, because you can easily fall off the product because we have applied it so thin. So whenever you're applying your product, just make sure you're neat with it and make sure that everything is smooth, so you don't have to do too much filing, because like I said, if you file too much, you thin the product out, and especially where the sidewalls are, because me, for some reason, whenever I am filing, I like to go near like the grooves of the nails and kind of tuck that in right where the tip and the nail meets. I like to go in and file and kind of tuck those areas in to slim out the nail, give it a slim look. But with these nails, you want to be very, very careful, because we have filed everything so thin, and we don't want to thin it out even more, causing the nails to break right there, you know what I mean? So just make sure that you have pre-shaped your nail tips in the beginning. You've seen how I did, like when I clipped the nails and then I went back and I pre-shaped it with the straight edge nail clipper into a coffin shape, just so I won't have to do too much filing. And then just make sure that you have laid your product, smooth enough, so you won't have to do so much filing, at the end, okay? I hope I'm making sense, you guys. I'm trying to hurry up and record this video and get it out the way so I can record the next set for my client that's about to come in just a few minutes. So, well, maybe not a few minutes. She did say she was running a little bit late, so that's okay. So, I don't have any space on my phone, so I have to rush and do this voiceover and get this video uploaded and out my phone so I can create more space or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and also, just make sure that you're just working on the application process, because we still have to go back in and seal around the cuticle area, So just make sure that you're very light-handed with your e-file. Make sure, like, whenever you have applied your product, just make sure it's thin near the, make sure your product is thin and tucked near the cuticle area, because you know, you don't want to have to file too much near the cuticle area and remove that product. You just want to lightly glide over it and just make sure everything is nice and sealed without removing too much product. So just make sure your product is thin near that area. And that's pretty much it, you guys. She got a very cute Valentine's Day set. I know I said I wasn't going to do any more Valentine's Day sets, but I meant on my practice hand. Everybody, you know, of course, it's Valentine's. It's the Valentine's Day time of the year, so everybody's really going to come in for the most part and get Valentine's Day nails. So if I do record on my practice hand, it won't be Valentine's Day anymore. So it will be probably spring nails, okay? So I do have more videos coming out for you guys. I'm very excited about the new videos. I have like some pre-recorded live videos of just me and you know, my clients, like interacting and talking. You know, I have a group of people that come and get their nails done. It's not too many people, so we're very comfortable with talking to each other, having good conversations. And of course I ask them, you know, or let them know that I'm recording them live beforehand, you know. But so some of our conversation are like a little personal, but if it does get too personal, I'll mute that out, or, you know, just to be respectful, you know. But for the most part, our video, our interaction is like, you know, girlfriends, you know what I mean? So I hope you guys like those new videos that are coming out. And I also have some videos that I am not talking on, so please forgive me for that, because I usually just be trying to record videos and get them out the way so I can have enough room in my phone. So yeah, you guys, I'm gonna leave you to watch the rest of the video and stay tuned for my next video or my other videos. Okay, so see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, and bye bye.